Da 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 da! What's my good cheer? Welcome, welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes to get those notifications out. In the meantime, if you've never popped into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And I was just laughing to myself because I was coming in, and as I usually do, in my mind, I'm going, what's the topic of discussion? And I'm rolling around my brain, and all I'm doing is procrastinating and starting the live. I just have to trust that when I come in live, the lesson will flow. And that is a problem with me. And that is probably a little bit in my lessons in belief in myself. And sometimes I just have to overcome that and push that and hit that live button and just trust that the lesson will be there. You know, I had a little bit of a lesson last week in a contemplation in a little bit of a question that was set forth in front of me. Ooh, forth, that's a good word, right? So it came to me, and it stumped me, and it got my brain stewing over the question because, I show up here fresh like a loaf of bread. I hit that live button, even knowing that I don't have a topic of discussion. Sometimes I have a point list. Sometimes because I take lots of notes in the last minute, I can just kind of backtrack and say, okay, we'll talk about that. And then I'll come in live. And it always ends up being a lesson in something else. Right? But that's the evidence for me that that's how it works, that I can come in here unprepared and yet prepared, right? If that makes any sense. Because, as much as I have that job that puts the roof over my head that I put my time into, as much as I have this brand that I put that time and effort, love, and work into, right? That work is in the lessons. It is in studying those conversations and reflecting on my experience, right? Actually, even looking at my goals, hopes, dreams, right? This morning, I thought I was going to talk a little bit about a list, right? A list that I have the list in my mind, but sometimes when it's not right in front of us, right? We don't have that list right in front of us. We can think in the moment that we don't have something to do, and we can trail off into aspects of our lives that are not good for us, not beneficial for us, and not making any movement for us at all. It happens to me all the time, right? I am a big procrastinator, but somehow I managed to get it done. I have no idea. I have my list, and I go into my days off and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to be so busy this week and there isn't going to be any time for myself. But all that time is for myself, right? Everything that I put into my days off, into that weekend, which is actually just Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, right? My weekend, that's all for myself. And sometimes because I have to put a little bit of energy into it. Sometimes if I have to say no to myself into some of those other things that I have to do, right? That is my movement. That is the way that I work. And I have to pay attention to what works for me, right? I had no idea what the topic of conversation was today. But I think it is in that trusting in myself that, some of those lessons have been absorbed into my system. And that Cindy the human does not have to show up and intervene and save the day, right? In that, oh my goodness, what's the topic today? I have to trust that it's going to come to me. And it's still in relation and in those ties of that question that was set forth to me. that it has put me in a frame of mind to say, okay, can I trust a little bit more? Right? I'm meant to believe. I'm meant to trust. But sometimes in our experiences, right, that sometimes it's kind of dampered out, right? And that's what we have to overcome. We have to overcome those insecurities, those self-doubts, those limiting beliefs, and overcome that by doing only one thing: overcoming our procrastination. That's what's holding us in place. That's the peg in the railroad. That's that's the hand that's pushing up against our forehead. That's the person that's saying no. That's the person saying no, right? We have to believe in ourselves. We do. We really do. And we have to trust that no matter how we move, that we can let go when we don't have those answers, right? When we're not quite sure, right? It doesn't mean let all your guards down and let the world, right, take you off and bump you up against walls and shorelines and, right, cause that kind of havoc. But when I say let go is in trusting in those other parts of you, right? Right? Nothing on the outside world, not in the people, right? Not in the lessons are there. Like I said, those lessons are already there. And that's what helps you to let go, right? Sometimes this is a lesson, and I've been in the lessons for like 6 years already. So, and probably much longer than that through the conversations, the experiences, and the relationships that I've had in my life, right? But I've been at this a long time. So a lot of those lessons have already been absorbed into my systems. So should I not be able to come into my life and be able to let go, and that when that topic comes to mind, and always I've been doing this podcast now, well, I've been here on YouTube I think for over a year, but before that I was doing this exact same live show, right? It looked a lot different because I had only achieved up to a certain point in my lessons before I was drawn and compelled and enticed to come back to YouTube in the live form, right? The videos were always there, but in the live form, I've always been consistent. YouTube has been my baby, right? Since 2014. New Year's Eve will be my 10-year anniversary here on YouTube, and we're going to do something big. I do a Christmas party every Christmas Eve. We do a live show, but this year for New Year's Eve, I'm going to do something spectacular. And this is what I want to get on the list so that when I do in that procrastination go off and do things that are unnecessary or unbeneficial to me or anybody else, that I could draw myself back to the main trunk, which this year will be in that, and be able to move myself forward in that, right? So this set a days off, or in the next few days, maybe even tonight when I get home, that list is going to be starting to work on, right? We are in the season of movement, 100% in the season of movement. And if you were going to make any moves, any New Year's resolution, now is the time to do it. Don't wait until January 1st, right? Pick yourself up some new habits, some new loves, some new addictions, healthy addictions, knowing, right, that you're going to start letting go of some of those things, right? We need to have that replacement because it's like a diet on New Year's Eve, right? Make that resolution. I'm going on that diet. And for lots of people, they add exercise as that addiction. And so they're able to maintain that diet and keep that motivation going because they've replaced the dieting with the exercise, which is beneficial to the dieting because you'll lose that weight much faster. But lots of people, they start that diet and they don't add a healthy addiction, whether it's a project or anything that we can throw ourselves into to keep ourselves occupied without thinking, oh my goodness, right? I'm not going to last on this diet. I don't think I can do it. Oh my goodness. And the next thing you know, you're sitting in front of the TV with the remote control and a bowl of popcorn and soda pop, right? So this is the goal for me in the next few days, is to get that list, and I will share that list. I did that list last year. I didn't share what I didn't accomplish in that list, but my audience, the people who care about me, get to and have been able to see what I have accomplished in the past year. It worked. It worked. I made some serious movement this year. I really did. And it was because of that list that I was able to apply myself and not to procrastinate and talk myself out of it and give up, right? So if I'm maybe starting this list, right? Maybe you can start the list too. You might not know what to put on that list. But how about some hopes and dreams and goals for the next year? Some things that you would like to accomplish. And you can minimize that. You can say, oh, that's not, I didn't need that suit, right? Get that off my list, right? I didn't need a dog. Let's just get that off the list until finally you come down to those things that are most important, that would actually serve you or serve others, right? In the next year, right? Because you now got it compact. Now you can come in as maybe not the 100% number one expert in that field, but be able to get yourself into the conversation and to get yourself into the topics so that you can go deeper, so that you don't give up in that because you've had that taste and you want more of that, right? Healthy addictions, right? Okay, you guys, I have to start early today. I am running off to work, but I wanted to come in live quickly this morning because I'm going to be busy tonight, all kinds of chores and letting my money disperse out all over the place by getting the stuff done that I need to do so that I can better set myself up so that I can sit here knowing that it's done and I can apply myself to what truly needs to be done. Okay, you guys, that's my good chair. And we'll see you on Monday. If you want to pop in on Sunday night, Chatters Live, I'll be here 7:30 Central within 5 minutes. Either way, most likely late 5 minutes, but I will be there, and it is lots of fun. And I like to share those great scores that I find at work, and I find some really great scores, right? But those great scores are for me, right? But in this season, I'm doing Christmas presents at the same time. Okay, you guys. Oh, and if that doesn't make sense, just let you know, I work in a little thrift store, and I've accumulated all my Christmas presents. I pulled everything out and I looked at what I had so I could check off the list who I still had to buy. Everybody's taken care of. I don't necessarily have to get Christmas into the budget, but because I'm ahead of the game, right? Maybe there's a few things that I can pick up for people that I didn't think in the moment were, I guess I was going to say important enough, right? But it was just in hindsight that I didn't recognize that, oh my goodness, right? Oh my goodness, she's been so kind to me this year, right? This little 50-cent item is just going to show her that I appreciate her, that I care about her, that I thought of her. Okay, you guys, that's my good cheer, and we'll see you Monday.